You really have a gift with tea leaves, Mary Frances.
I left more in the kitchen.
Thank you. They replaced English breakfast as my favorite.
Your breathing is still very shallow, Douglas.
It'll pass. I feel much better now that you're here. But I'm surprised that you are. I mean, what with your waiting just a few days away.
There's not that much for me to do. Christy and Felicia have handled everything, from invitations to flowers.
So it's going all very smoothly.
Well, we've hit a few bumpy spots, but I try not to dwell on the complications.
I'm afraid I'm one of those.
Douglas, of course you aren't.
What with my heart acting up, I've needed Christy more than usual these days. It's been upsetting for her.
You're terribly worried about her, aren't you?
She's panicking. She insists on me looking at more tests, reconsidering a heart transplant. I don't want machines keeping me alive. I wish Christy would understand that.
She doesn't want to let go.
It's been very difficult. We've argued.
I'm so sorry.
Maybe if you would try talking to her again.
I wish I could, Douglas, but I'm afraid that would just make matters worse. Christy thinks I've taken sides with you, that I'm encouraging you to give in. Maybe that's why she's turned to Cass.
You think that she'd listen to him?
If she'd listen to anybody, it would be Cass.
Doesn't Christy confide in you anymore?
She tells me bits of things, but it's not like when we were growing up and reading each other's journals. Christy felt we were much too sophisticated to call them diaries.
You miss all that, don't you?
Sure. I figured we would just be able to pick right up where we left off, and that we would be baring our souls and laughing at who we turned out to be. That's the kind of friends we were.
Has Christy changed a lot?
I didn't think so at first, but...
Now you do.
Well, maybe it's me. I'm not the same either.
Christy says you're just as she remembers you.
Does she? I've tried to figure it out, Douglas. I keep telling myself that we just grew in different directions.
I believe you when you say you've grown. I wonder if Christy feels she has.
Does it even enter her head?
That's what I mean.
Douglas, when Christy was 15 years old, she acted like she was 30. And I always looked up to her because she seemed so much older and wiser.
But you don't see her that way anymore, do you?
What's important is that she still sees herself that way. And why not? She's led a much more sophisticated life. She's lived in New York, worked in the theater.
That doesn't make you mature. What does she think about your interest in spiritual matters?
Not much. She makes a joke out of it. She's not the first.
But she's your best friend. That has to hurt a lot.
Actually, it's totally like Christy. She would never pretend with me about something like that.
What about other things?
Douglas, nothing is simple with Christy anymore. I used to be able to figure out why she did things, and now I don't have a clue. I've been wondering if maybe it's because she resents our friendship.
I think it's more likely she resents what you have with Cass.
You're serious, aren't you?
You and Cass are young. You have a wonderful life and children ahead of you. I can't give her that.
Douglas, you gave Christy what she needed or she wouldn't have married you.
But look at me, Mary Frances. Out of all of us, I've changed the most.